Oh my is right. Fletcher Westphal, offensive tackle that Florida has been high on, myself has been high on. All Gator websites have been really excited for Fletcher Westphal to hopefully, potentially, possibly commit to the Florida Gators. This would be a 4-star offensive tackle. The stars that we have lacked on the offensive line for the Florida Gators for quite some time now. So if we were able to land this, I promise you, Florida Gator fans will be absolutely insane. But as things were leading up to his commitment, which happens to be tomorrow at 11:45 a.m., so make sure you guys tune in for that if you're not already being turned into it. News was that he was trending towards Clemson. My heart broke. I go, Clemson keeps stealing one from us. And obviously all the noise and all the drama and all the rumor mill has been going around with DJ Lagway flipping to Clemson because they've been stealing a few of our recruits. All this would do is fuel the fire. Well, I woke up this morning to a little present. Some news has changed, and On3 has flipped, not necessarily flipped, but adjusted their rankings. They adjusted their projections on where somebody would land. They do, instead of just crystal balls, they have percentages on where they feel somebody might land. And before this morning, Clemson led the way about like 50%. But as of this morning, Florida took a slight lead with a 40.7% chance of going to Florida. Clemson's still a very close second, sitting at a 34.6%. But this excites me. What excites me even more is the Clemson message boards. From Space Casey, someone last week said something about UF possibly dropping a bag here, but we never really knew. Hopefully, it's just smoke. Now, anytime somebody accuses you of dropping a bag or doing things incorrectly, that's a good thing. You know why I know it's a good thing? Because I've been on the other side. I've been Space Casey from the 247 message before myself when it happens to Florida Gators. And yeah, we're hearing this stuff, but it probably doesn't mean anything. Well, guess what? Most of the time, it always meant something. It didn't go our direction. So hopefully we can be on the right side of history this time and land this massive offensive tackle. If we were to land Fletcher, he would be the 4th offensive tackle in this class and the 2nd biggest by just a smudge, offensive tackle being standing at 6'7", right at 300 pounds, which falls right into line with what Billy has been recruiting on the offensive line side of things, being the average height on that offensive line, I think 6'8" for 320. These are the guys that are starting. So I'd expect this young man to get a little bit bigger if need be, but he's already sitting at the right height. And again, for stars and recruiting and rating, we've talked about this a slew of times. Offensive tackles are a little skewed, so don't get too caught up in the stars, but it does feel good if Florida is able to land a 4-star, because now we're going to dive into is the calculator. You know how I love my calculator. You know I love to dive into it and see what's going to happen on the what-if possibility here. So we got to take a look at the calculator here, okay? And let's just dive into it, because this is going to show us where we're at. Currently, we sit in 3rd with 17 commits. Georgia is 40-plus points ahead of us. We got some work to do, but this is where it starts. So we go ahead and we add in Fletcher Westphal here. We'll add him. We'll go ahead and calculate that score. Puts us up to 270, okay? And you see where he sits in the list here, above Isaiah, above Kanan, above Josiah. So he's the 3rd highest or 3rd lowest ranked 4-star. I don't think it's going to adjust the average rating too much. It's got him at a 90 right here. We're sitting at 92. I'd expect us to stay at 92 if he were to commit. But that puts us at 270. So we don't skyrocket into 2nd place. Ohio State is having a hell of a class themselves with 4 5-star commits. Definitely need to land ourselves a few 5-star commits to bump that number up to get us a little bit closer. Because, again, this is going to put us at 18 commits. But look behind us. Michigan with 25 commits is sitting behind us by 1 point. It will be sitting behind us just a little bit further. USC, with the same amount of commits as us, is sitting a fair amount behind us. So we are still cruising in the right direction. Obviously, there's a lot of noise on the possibility of who else we could land. Don't want to get too far ahead of things just yet, but this is where we need to get back into it. I feel like since our massive weekend, not much has happened with Billy and the Florida Gators, so would love to get back onto a healthy July. Hopefully we can, I don't think we have the same thing, right? But if we can land 1 or 2 a week until the season starts, that'll make my heart settle down a little bit. I would love to go into the season with about 20 commits and probably close out on 4 or 5 for the regular season. Hopefully some guys that are on the fence, and we can utilize the games and the energy in the swamp to lock down some guys that may have been on the fence at that moment. But again, live tomorrow at 8:45, he will be committing. We will not be live for that show, but if anything does happen, that is great. We'll be live afterwards, suited up, because you know how we do things here on the show. So be sure to turn the bell on, drop a like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.